you're all paying very close attention, but I haven't rung the bell in a while. Let's try. Good morning and welcome. Tēnā koutou te whānau o Auckland Unitarian. Tēnā koutou nā manahiri, no mai, haere mai. Haere mai ki tēnei whare karakia a te atua. Tēnā koutou, tēnā tātou katoa. You might be wondering why you are here from wherever you are. Laura Hutton Ludwig may be able to help you. She begins, Spirit of Life and Love. We are here because we believe what we do matters. We are here because we believe how we live our life matters. That with every act of kindness or meanness, courage or fear, love or hate, we are weaving the fabric of the universe that holds us all. We are here because we need encouragement, because we need strength, because so often we get distracted. We get in a rush. We don't think. We choose the easy way when the harder path is what our spirit truly longs for. We're here because none of us is perfect, but together we inspire one another to try again, to take another step. We are here because we have felt the stirrings of love and grace in our hearts and hands, and we crave more of that for ourselves. And not only for ourselves, for everyone. We are here because it matters. If there was ever a time for a candle in the darkness, this would be it. Using a spark of hope, kindle the flame of love, ignite the light of peace, and feed the flame of justice. Please join me if you're able to stand and sing Spirit of Life. Please join me in the covenant of our congregation. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is a sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve humankind in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall with each other and with our. I see the wrong pictures up there. Let's try again. Well, Ralph and Nadia, I think you're our sole source of time for all ages. You want to come hear a story? You're bringing the cripple, I see. So, how many sides do you have, you as a person? You don't know? How about you, Ralph?
1,566.
He lives in a multiverse. That's very good. Well, most of us have an outside. And if we have an outside, do we have a? Inside, that's right. And you're reading the book title, see? Outside In. So welcome to Outside In. And it's interesting how the two actually fit together. So this story tells us that. Let's change the direction. Once we were part of outside, and outside was part of us. There was nothing between us. You can come up. Now, sometimes even when we're outside, we're inside. We forget outside is there. So outside reminds us. With flashes at the window and slow magic tricks. It sends the sunset and shadows inside to play. Outside sings to us with chirps and rustles and tap-taps on the roof. It beckons with smells, sun-baked, fresh, and mysterious. Outside feeds us. Sun, rain, and seeds become warm bread and berries. Outside cuddles us in clothes, once puffs of cotton. It holds us in wooden chairs, once trees. We feel outside in the warm weight of our cats and the rough fur of our dogs. Outside shows us there's a time to rest and a time to start fresh. Outside steals inside, a spider seeking shelter, a box elder bug in the bath, a tiny snail on kale. Even rivers come inside, cool water rushing, eager to return to the sea. I'm here, outside says, I miss you. Outside waits, and we answer. So, do you answer outside? I couldn't hear you, Ralph.
Why did the writing in the book suddenly get bigger at the last second?
You probably understand that better than I do, Ralph. You're under my age. So, anyway, today is a day to think about how much of outside is inside you and how much of inside you goes outside. Okay? All right. Do you have any joys or concerns? Good morning, by the way, Larry. No. Yeah? The late Tess Brotherson.
You're lucky we made it. We're lucky we made it. Yeah, hi. For those of you who may not know me, I'm Tess. And I just wanted to share my joy. As many of you know, I've been looking for a new job for over a year now. And on Tuesday, this past week, I started my new job. And it went really well. I'm very excited. They're a lovely team to work with. And so that's my joy.
Yay. Patience pays off, doesn't it? Okay, then let's sing it downstairs. Go down with peace. May the Spirit of love surround every day, every breath you may go. I now invite those of you who would like to share a joy or concern to come forward at this time. Good morning, Viv.
Good morning. I'm Viv. I don't know about you, but I thought those pictures were just stunning. Absolutely beautiful. Thank you, Clay, for finding that. It was just great. Jos and I have just come back from a week in the South Island, and I'd like to say hello from our Unitarian friends in Christchurch. We had an amazing get-together with Martin, who you've seen on, probably some of you have seen on Zoom, and Don McDonald, some of you know, and then Clark was down there. Clark Thomason was down there as well. So we had wonderful get-togethers, and they want to say hello to you. And it was just lovely to be away, and it was still sad, I felt, with Christchurch. It's still lots of empty car parks and boarded up buildings, and it was nice to come back to Auckland somehow.
Kia ora koutou, my name's Rachel. This is a candle of joy for the group that Kay has started, that some people here come to on a Thursday night. I haven't been yet, doing craftivism, and there was a story and stuff published just over the weekend about this. Clay is quoted, and it talks about the importance of quiet activism. So have a look at the story.
I haven't read it yet. I hope they quoted me right.
Good morning, my name is Jo. I'd like to light a candle for my mum because she died on Wednesday. She would have been 101 in June. And the last 10 years of her life were not so great because she had Alzheimer's. But I'm happy that she died peacefully and she still knew me.
Sorry, Joe. But 101 years is a good run,
not
isn't
bad.
it?
Morning, I'm David, and I'd like to light a candle of joy. Now, this is something I lit a candle of joy for a couple of weeks ago, that I was happy to go into the Auckland Half Marathon in October, and I've been training for it for a while. And I thought, heck, I wonder if I could do a marathon now. So I went on and did one. I did half a marathon, 21 Ks, going back and home, back from my home to here and back 3 times. So I'd be too slow to get into the Auckland Marathon, but I've only got about 20 minutes to cut off that, and I'll be right.
I light this candle for those joys and concerns in our hearts and minds, but left unspoken. To kind of get the mind rolling in the right direction, here is my reading. It's by Lao Tse. For if they are evil and we are not, if that's how we see things, then we are committing the same kind of error which led to this tragedy, that the problem of evil, not so much that it exists, in that it's really just a fact of life or a force of nature. The problem of evil, as I see it, is that we are so readily tempted to imagine that it's out there, separated from us over here, that it belongs to them and not us, and that I believe is ultimately the root and the design of evil, to make us categorize the world into us and them rather than recognizing our common kinship. For there to be peace in the world, there must be peace in the heart. Our first song today is the first hymn in our hymnal. And at least since I've been here, we've never sung it as a congregation. So I want you to listen to it. It's "May Nothing Evil Cross This Door." And it's not a lament, it's a blessing. So it's not a dirge. It's a song of joy, actually. So we're going to listen to Frank play it a little bit so we get a sense of it, and then we'll give it a go. And if you suck at it, we're doing it again. Nothing evil cross this door. Okay, stop there. Let's open our mouths, be bold, be brave, and let's play that first one again. It's an old joke in Unitarianism that we sing so badly because we're checking ahead to see if we agree with the theology. Now, I hope you agree with the theology, and the next time we sing that, you can do it with a little more gusto. But you were doing better by the end. Well done. I am pretty certain there's nowhere in the world right now where the preacher is using the title, The Walking Dead, Are We All Infected? So let's see what happens. I have a bone to pick with my daughter. In a recent FaceTime call, she was appalled to learn I wasn't familiar with a TV series called The Walking Dead. I reminded her that I do dragons and wizards and werewolves, if Michael J. Fox is one. I don't do horror films, or at least not since I was 14 when I watched Hitchcock's The Birds. I use the word watched loosely because I had my jacket over my head for most of it. A book about vampires is okay, but I don't want to read about or watch zombies. Then while looking for a new series to watch, I saw that Neon, our streaming service, had just made The Walking Dead available. All 10 seasons. Just to be more up to date with cultural references, I decided to watch just one episode and then tell my daughter it was a waste of time. I've just about completed season 4. I'm thoroughly hooked. It took 2 seasons for me not to be repelled by the makeup and special effects. It's disturbing how quickly one can normalize the horrific. For those of you who have better taste in your TV viewing, here's the basic storyline. A virus has caused a worldwide pandemic. Implausible, I know. At least it was a decade ago when the first episode was released. The virus kills 100% of its victims. Then the patient resurrects, but not as themselves. Most of their brain is no longer functioning, making them interested only in finding food. Any protein will do, but they prefer humans. They pass the virus to anyone they bite or scratch. They can be put down for good only by destroying their brain. It is soon revealed that anyone who dies for any reason other than the virus will also resurrect as a walker, as they're called. The word zombie is never used. No bite or scratch is required because everyone is infected. This is the premise as the series follows those who have so far survived. While the walkers are dangerous, they are not exactly fleet of foot, and they give a whole new level of meaning to stupid. No, humans are much more dangerous. Turns out the series isn't about zombies at all. Each episode is a case study about the problems of evil. It isn't easy to be a heretic in Unitarian Universalism, but I'm verging on it this morning by talking about evil. My excuse? The devil made me do it. Unitarian Universalists are way too optimistic to focus on evil. The song we just sang, hymn 1, in the UU hymnal, Singing the Living Tradition, is the first and last time the word is used in the entire book. I think this is a weakness in our faith tradition because evil exists. No amount of denial will protect us from it. Our Universalist ancestors believed strongly in the doctrine of universal salvation, that all souls would be reunited with an ultimately loving God, and that no soul is destined for eternity in hell. If you take away hell, perhaps the idea of evil doesn't make quite so much sense, because there's nowhere to put it. Or maybe we ignore evil because our Unitarian ancestors were so convinced of humanity's ability to climb onward and upward, to rise above our basest instincts, or perhaps because our Unitarian Universalist rationalism has been so infused with the psychological mythologies of our day, demons have turned into conditions, and evil has become maladjustment and bad choices. By whatever route, it seems that our religious tradition has largely lost the language to deal with terrorism in Christchurch, oppression in Hong Kong, mass murder in Denver and Atlanta, and recent genocides in Myanmar, Syria, Iraq, and Nigeria. The list of evils is much longer than 10 seasons of The Walking Dead can address. And the atrocities are not computer generated. They are all too real, all too common, and all too easy to normalize. How are we to make sense of that? First, recognize evil's existence. As the story of Cain killing Abel suggests, it's always been around. Hebrew scriptures saw an all-powerful Yahweh in his righteous wrath committing some evils that would make zombies blush. Christian writings saw a more loving and forgiving, yet all-powerful God. But that gave Christian theologians a headache, more like a migraine, trying to justify an all-powerful and loving God who permitted evil. If a loving God permitted its existence, what is the source of evil? Turns out I'm not the only UU willing to risk heresy. The Reverend Rosemary Bray McNatt, president of Star King School for the Ministry, had this to say about evil. Evil is not as complex as our explanations about it are. Whatever we try to explain it, we fall back on our own experiences, the deep betrayals, our bitter losses. We find ourselves speechless and ineffective in the face of larger structural evils revealed to us with chilling regularity. A law enforcement system that leads to unarmed Black people being shot by police every day of the year, and wars by remote control that are no less deadly for their distance. However we describe the means by which we experience evil, its source remains the same. Our capacity to turn in on ourselves so completely, we lose sight of both our connections to others and to that greater source that binds us together. Whenever we forget who we are, whose we are, and what our relationship to one another is, there lies the breeding ground for evil. It is the loss of essential memory which leads to individual actions and collective structures that reflect and reinforce that terrible disconnect. Evil has its origins in the abandonment of hope and meaning among those who have lost or never known their core identity. She sounds like she could be speaking of zombies. But in truth, she is acknowledging we are all infected with evil. If there is a vaccine, the Reverend Dr. William F. Schultz, a former president of the Unitarian Universalist Association and executive director of Amnesty International USA, offers this possible one. Ultimately, our answer will need to be political and theological, personal and corporate. Along with intimations of goodness, evil lies coiled in every human heart, latent in almost every human enterprise. The goal is not to vanquish it. That's too much to hope for, but to temper it. And naming a phenomenon is always the first step towards its taming. In language we can identify with these days, he does not expect to eliminate evil. He just hopes we can flatten the curve. Evil will always be with us, but we may not find it where we are looking. Carl Jung once wrote, "The individual who wishes to have an answer to the problem of evil has need, first and foremost, of self-knowledge. That is, in the utmost possible knowledge of their own wholeness. They must know relentlessly how much good they can do and what crimes they are capable of, and must be aware of regarding the one as real and the other as illusion. Both are elements within their nature, and both are bound to come to light in them, should they wish, as they ought, to live without self-deception or self-delusion." This is the religious response to evil, not setting it apart and intensifying the illusion of separation, but recognizing how much good we can do and what crimes we are capable of. Recognizing that both are part of each of us, that both are found in me. We have moved on from our ancestors' denial of evil. We now know where it has been put, not in hell, but in our human nature. If I'm going to confront evil with courage and resolve, that is where I have to begin. But I cannot do that unless I'm also grounded in the certainty that goodness is embedded in our humanity as well. Should I forget that, I become the walking dead. My faith keeps me alive and human. Adrian Rich sums it up this way: "My heart is moved by all I cannot save. So much has been destroyed. I have cast my lot with those who, age after age, perversely, with no extraordinary power, reconstitute the world." Amen. So, on that joyful note, let us sing our closing hymn, "Let It Be a Dance We Do." Please join me in the words for extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Well, just now that favorite time of ours, for notices.
Hi, just a quick message. I've put up on the notice board the newsletters from the Adelaide congregation and the Melbourne congregation. They're quite interesting, so have a little look at them.
Kia ora, I'm Rachel. I'm standing in for Mark, who's not here this Sunday, but Mark coordinates the roster for the various duties that we have in the morning, and we're good for next week, but after that there's a big desert. So while you're having your discussion groups, I will pass the thing around. Please have a look. And if you've never done a duty before, please feel free to put your name down anyway. If we don't know your email address, can you let me know what it is so that I can let Mark know? Thank you.
If you haven't done it before, I'm sure somebody will be happy to be your guide.
Hi, everybody. This is a reminder that next week, which is Easter Sunday, we're going to be having an egg hunt at Vivian Yoss's park behind their house, or if it rains, we'll have it here. And we really do need to have people of all ages. Please bring children, grandchildren, nephews, nieces, whatever you can find, and tell your friends. And bring people along. We're trying to get more families to come and get involved, and so this is something that we're hoping we can, I know, you can't do much.
It's a bring a plate.
It's a potluck. It's an egg hunt, which will be exchanged. The plastic eggs will be exchanged for slave-free chocolate, and there'll be a potluck lunch, picnic lunch, and then the week after that we're having an intergenerational service, and so that would be lovely to have lots of kids involved, too, if possible. Thanks.
If you're coming, there's lots of parking in the surrounding areas around our place. Wellington Street, Napier, Hepburn, and, there's lots of parking and walkways to our place.
Welcome back, Max.
Yeah, we've had a physically challenging 18 months between my wife and I. One of us has a problem, gets over it, the other one gets a problem, and so forth. It's very nice to be back. Thank you. Yes, thank you. Okay. Next Sunday, the time changes. Daylight savings is over, so check your watches so you don't show up at some crazy hour. And this is the end of the tax year, so if you want to make a donation, make the donation before the 31st of March, which is Wednesday, Tuesday, whatever. And then you'll get it on the 2021 taxes. Otherwise, you won't get a deduction for another 12 months.
Glad you're back.
Yep, hi, yes, I just have a couple of peace and social justice announcements. Glenn Taylor School, who most of you know, we support the Books and Homes program. They're holding a role model assembly tomorrow morning. And if anyone's interested in attending, and of course everyone's invited to come, contact Gary or Brenda. And also, we'll be supporting their Kids in Camp program, which is in May. Each child is sponsored to go to the camp in Kowau at $70 per student for that. So look for details coming up with regard to that. And Sally is helping to organize an interfaith service here at the church on Friday, the 7th of May. So again, watch for details for that if you're interested in the newsletter. And we're also pleased to report that we're supporting the Merge Cafe on Ponsonby Road. They provide a vital service for homeless and disadvantaged people. So Peace and Social Justice and the congregation is supporting them. And anyone that also wants to support them, call in for a cup of coffee if you wish and if you can. And then finally, the Peace and Social Justice Committee is looking for projects that more people in the congregation can get involved in. So if you have any ideas for that, please do get in touch with any of us. Thanks.
I don't know the details, Paul, but apparently the strike with LifeWise has been resolved. I'm sure it was our letter. Yeah, there's a settlement anyway. I don't know the details. But that's what I'm not sure of. But it did pass. It looks like you're all hanging around for some reason. Who's speaking?
Hello, everyone. We just wanted to let you know what we have been doing with our children's program. And our poster is not done yet, but we did want to invite you. We are having an Easter egg hunt next week for people of all ages, children at heart, those with children, our children. Everybody is welcome. And we will be, weather permitting, going over to Viv and Yoss's home and having an Easter egg in the park behind their house at noon. So you can come, have morning tea, wander over, and it will be a potluck, so bring a shared plate. And we will have Easter egg hunt for anyone who would like to participate. There's no age limit on finding eggs and eating chocolate.
Oh, that count me in. Thank you. Any others?
I know it's been a real light, joyous kind of service today, so I thought I would uplift you or bring you down just a little bit with a quote by Alexander Solzhenitsyn. And if you've ever read him, there's never any joyful notes there. It's so Russian. If only there were evil people somewhere insidiously committing evil deeds. Let me repeat that. If only there were evil people somewhere insidiously committing evil deeds, and if it were necessary only to separate them from the rest of us and destroy them, but the line dividing good and evil cuts through the heart of every human being. And who is willing to destroy a piece of their own heart? I now invite you to go into your small groups, and you'll find your conversation starter in your order of service.
Yes, the problem of evil in Unitarian universities is like elephant in the room. Yeah. Very appropriate, thank you.
Thank you. It's good
Yeah,
to
it's
see
good to be
you.
back. I pinched a nerve in my back about 2 months ago, so I mean, it just, you know, thank goodness we're alternating, we're taking turns.
Yes, that is helpful. That is helpful. Is she doing okay right now?
That is,
Is Di doing all right?
yeah,
now?
she's okay. Yes.
Well, I did make a change to Zoom this week in that you no longer need to start the recording. That should